Perfect, Paul.
Great, thank you. Okay, so for everyone that's in the demo already, we're just going to give it one more minute to get everybody into the room, and then we will commence. So just bear with us. Okay, so I think we're going to kick off because we are a little bit behind time, and we obviously want to show you as much as we can of the gamified solutions. So I'm just going to quickly do an introduction and also introduce my colleague Ashir, who will be taking you through the demo. So my name's Paul Liebowitz. I'm a registered industrial psychologist and director at BIOSS SA, and my colleague Ashir Iftikhar is here from the Talent Games, and he's going to be taking you through the actual demo itself, as well as a high-level overview of a slide deck. So we partnered with the Talent Games towards the back end of last year, and we are the distributors of the Talent Games in South Africa. So a very exciting solution, very cutting edge, and just really cool games to play for your graduate level. So you'll be able to see that in a few minutes. So I'm going to hand over to Ashir, who is going to take you through the slides, and then of course into the actual demos themselves. So Ashir, over to you.
Thank you, Paul. Appreciate the introduction there. Hi, everyone. As Paul mentioned, my name is Ashir. I look after business development partnership operations for the Talent Games. We are an organization who has been, and please confirm if you're able to see my screen, we're an organization that has been, quote unquote, bringing science and fun to the art of recruitment for the better half of the last 4 or 5 years. We've been doing this primarily in the Asian, African, Oceania, and European zones, and we have this year moved into the North and South American zones as well. BIOSS here is in South Africa is our certified partner, and it's been a pleasure working with Paul and BIOSS team. A little bit more about our organization and the solutions that we're providing currently is an attempt to digitize and gamify the entire recruitment process. And the reason behind and why we feel that there is a need in order to do so is because traditional recruitment has not worked too well for the current incumbents within the talent industry, who we may categorize within the millennial and Gen Z population, right? So some of the statistics and some of the data that's available out in the world regarding feedback on the experience and the general recruitment experience has not been very positive. And it makes sense since we are currently using recruitment mechanisms which are designed or recruitment mechanisms which are designed using theories which were established a few decades ago. So hence may no longer be relevant since our candidates who now are applying are a very different breed. So 75% of millennial candidates, as you can see here on the screen, have found the conventional method of recruitment as outdated. We've had about 60% of applicants admit that they have quit an application process because it just took too long. 65% of candidates don't receive any feedback on the job application. Another 3/4 of those go ahead and share these negative experiences with someone they know, thereby affecting the employer brand as well. So what are gamified assessments, and why do we feel that this is the solution to those issues? First off, we're creating a process and product which is more fun for the candidates and allows for the pre-screening process to be fair by putting in smart algorithms and taking out human bias and errors out of the equation at that pre-screening stage. By doing so, also providing richer candidate insights to help recruiters make better shortlisting decisions. As is with any technology, we will then be able to do this at larger volumes for cheaper and faster speeds. These are 3 areas of assessment that we are offering. We believe in looking at a candidate as a holistic profile. So hence we're looking at behavioral competencies, cognitive abilities, and aptitude tests to give employers a full picture of what their candidate may have the potential for. As the header says, better science, more actionable outcomes. That is the agenda. As mentioned before, the idea behind gamification is also to create a fun experience. And as we saw earlier, about three-fourths of candidates share their negative experiences with other candidates and hence may impact employer brand over time. One of the key areas of revamping the candidate experience, and one of the objectives is also to revamp the brand image or the employer brand image with the candidate and talent pool. At the end of each of our games, we have an optional survey in place which asks candidates a set of questions. From those, you can see the responses we have gathered. 60% of candidates believe our recruitment games help companies hire better quality candidates. So the perception within candidates of correlation is pretty high. 75% of candidates agree it allowed them to showcase their real potential. Again, their perspective on the experience is fairly positive. 80% of candidates believe that the gamified recruitment games are more relevant to the job they're applying, and 90% of them felt that the whole methodology reflected real work-life situation. So as you can see, the impact and experience of the candidates in itself being reimagined has been a positive experience for them. We have two kinds of solutions. We have ready-to-play solutions where if you're looking for a turnkey product, we have pre-designed library of 32 tests, which is over here, which are broken down into aptitude assessments, cognitive ability assessments, and behavioral competency assessments. We have 3 aptitudes, about 8 cognitive abilities, and 20 different behavioral competencies in the right part of the page. Of these, each of our clients can choose 7 to 8 games or anywhere between 5 or 10 tests to put into one of their games. The way this is done is by simply sitting down and taking a look at whatever competency framework, requirements, values an organization has and mapping it against these commonly used 32 areas for assessment. Sorry, as mentioned earlier, these are pre-designed. That also allows us a quick turnaround time, so we're actually able to put these games out in less than a week. Allows for unlimited number of assessments, unbiased algorithms. That is to say that we also allow for both kind of models, a pay-per-play model as well as an unlimited model where if the client comes in and purchases a specific package, they would be able to use it for 1,000 or 10,000 candidates, depending however they want to use it. They would have those licenses available. Of the 32 tests, as mentioned, we have 2 different variations, 3 different variations. We've got aptitudes, we've got cognitive abilities, or we've got behavioral competencies. Behavioral competencies are tested using situational judgment tests that we've gamified. Cognitive ability games are a little more interactive. You'll see a little more of that when I give you a live demo of the product itself. So we'll get into that later. The steps of rolling out this ready-to-play recruitment game are very short, very simple. The client organization simply must share their selection criteria and select the relevant assessment tools from the assessment database. Step 3 is they will within a week receive a web URL link with their ready-to-play gamified recruitment solution. Step 4 and 5 are simply about rolling it out there, getting candidates assessed and taking them forward. We also have customized games as opposed to our ready-to-play one. In this, we're able to create gaming experiences from scratch for each of our clients to create a custom employer brand experience during this pre-screening assessment process for these organizations and for candidates to go through. That is to say, we're able to create environments for each organization, allowing us to put candidates within their offices, get candidates to interact with these simulated versions of employees at those organizations and so forth. And even more so, this allows us to create situational judgment tests around the behaviors that clients share with us rather than just doing a mix and match as is with our ready-to-play solution. So now, since we're building the situational judgment tests from scratch, The behavior fit for those tests is higher, as well as is the situation, as well as is the accuracy of the situation we place candidates in will be a better reflect the organization, job role that's being applied for, and so on. To give you an idea of diversity of range in which we can work with, we've gone with factories, power plants, retail stores, farm, and even put games on the moon. So just depending on how daring the client organization is, we're able to really create a game from scratch. Of course, this process is slightly longer, requires a little less interaction from the client as one may expect, but still there has to be an involvement in helping us understand their organization culture, situations, and so on and so forth. And all in all, we can still get this done within 12 weeks. I believe that's about half the time of any marketplace custom solution there is for gamified recruitment. We've got a few other additional features on our platform: social media campaigns, integrated video interviews, additional languages. We can translate solutions into biometric security measures to make sure, which is to be honest, is more of a facial proctoring system, ATS integrations to make sure seamless data transfer. There's a huge ROI that can be generated through gamified recruitment. And these are figures based on 5,000 applications with the need to fill 50 individual contributor or first line supervisor vacancies per year. These are taken from the Talent LMS 2019 Gamification at Work study. Based on these 5,000 applications coming in for 50 roles in 2019, they calculated an improved efficiency of simply $36,000, which is actually about a 50% reduction in administrative costs. Psychometric test savings, happier recruiters, with recruiters spending 50% less time interviewing candidates, because now the pre-screening process is a little more effective than the traditional process, which was a junior HR recruiter sifting through CVs. Now you have a pre-screening tool which can actually provide you scores on which you can base your pre-screening decisions. Reduced time to hire, 50% reduction in time to hire, 25% reduced talent turnover. You can see the monetary figures right there. Then we have, of course, a little more on Nestle as our flagship client we've worked with over the last couple of years. We're now running in the third year of the contract. We've launched over 13 markets in simply Nestle, Asia, Oceania, and Africa. We've also done a year in the Europe and Middle East markets. This is a quote from their regional talent manager, and a little more on the candidate experience. As you can see, 94% found it was a fun experience. 91 felt that the organization would provide a fun work environment, 51 being the NPS we received. For some clientele, we've gathered the team, co-founder, CEO, MDs, and Chief Assessment Officer, as well as the team at BIOSS. Paul was kind enough to introduce us, and I will now be moving on into the demo. Hi, I hope you guys can see my.
Yeah, we can see it.
Awesome.
Thanks, Ashir.
Thank you, Paul. So as you can see my screen, first thing I'd like you to note is the USP is this is a purely web-based solution, cloud-based, which means all that's required is a web URL, and that'll bring candidates to this art screen. This art screen is customized for each of our clients. There's a set of instructions on the gameplay, what browsers to use, how much time it will take, and so on and so forth. There is a support helpline where candidates can reach out to us and and raise any queries that they may have. And those queries could be either general in nature or technical in terms of assistance with the process of playing the game itself, right? If they suppose get stuck anywhere, enter your password. So the sign-in process is also fairly simple. It's an email address and password. They can create the password. If they already have one, they can just reuse that. Once they're in the game, they have a quick data privacy statement and an introduction from a character named Sarah. Sarah is the personal guide into the life of C Corp, where individuals get to challenge their capabilities. The whole idea is Sarah introduces and simulates the candidate into this virtual organization in order to help them really get immersed to the process. So Sarah helps us understand a little better about what the candidates need to do through the introduction. We just skip that part because you have me to guide you through it. So there's also a registration form where we can collect all kinds of information personal, academic, so on and so forth. There's also an upload your resume feature that candidates can upload their CVs or resumes and take that forward. All of this data becomes instantly available in real time to the recruiters through our dashboards. That's a bit more on the back end side of things, but staying on the front end of the assessment. Once we've logged in and submitted the registration information, we're brought to this tall building called the control tower. It's this long tower where each level in the building is a different test. And I would like to start with That's My Problem. That's My Problem is a situational judgment test for the behavioral competency called agility. In this, the candidate is given a character who has successfully launched with their colleague a smartwatch, and they're enjoying the success when their boss walks in, Fayola, with some complaints. So this said, we're receiving complaints from customers that screens have started crashing on their own. There's a 60-second timer. There are 4 answer options to choose from, and depending on which answer option you choose, the following question will now pull. So just to recap, there are a question, a 60-second timer, 4 answer options to choose from. 2 of those answers will take you to a specific scenario, and 2 of those will take you to a different one. So something like a decision tree. And as now we can see again, the question repeats. There's a timer, there's answer. Each of our behaviors we have tested 3 times. So the whole situation revolves around 3 instances where candidates have to take decisions and answer questions. Once they've completed those, they're brought back to the control tower as mentioned before. And on the control tower, they can then go ahead and play other games. Once they've completed all their games, that will be the end of their game, and they can be considered for pre-screening or shortlisting by recruiters. All of our behavioral assessments or behavioral competency assessments follow a similar mechanism of situational judgment tests where the situation will change, the characters will change, the problems will change. But in essence, there will always be a behavior that is being tested 3 times using the same format. In our custom solutions, we're able to design these scenarios from scratch and make them reflect something that is more accurate to the job role they're applying for, as these are more generic, and so on. Right? So moving over to another style of assessment, or another style of games we have, I will take you now to Flip-Flop. Flip-Flop is a cognitive ability game for cognitive shifting or flexibility, as you may call it. So in this, first thing I'd like you to note is the vertical alignment of the screen. This is in order to optimize the gameplay for smartphones as well as desktop. On smartphone, so a majority of our candidates actually play these games on smartphones, and we are a mobile-first game company. That is to say, everything is designed making sure that smartphones are perfectly compatible with the solution, as well as providing a premium desktop experience. Now in this one, the objective is to identify the direction of the airplane with which it is moving versus the position in which it is pointed. Identify the correct direction or position by depending on the color of the plane. So the blue planes, we have to identify which way they move, and the red planes in which way they point. And we know that candidates usually don't play a lot of read the instructions too well, so we put in tutorials as well, but we'll skip those for now. Within this, as you can see, there's a 1-minute 30-second timer, a score, and if I was on my smartphone, I would swipe, and on my desktop, I can use my arrow keys. I could swipe up top, as that is the direction it was pointing. When with the blue ones, you can see I have to point in the direction it's moving in, and so on and so forth, right? So if I have to swipe right, I might lose points. So you can see score 20. I just lost 5 points because I didn't do what I was told to do. In the pointing, again, we've got the red planes. I have to swipe in the direction it points in and not the direction it moves in. And when it becomes a blue plane, again, apologize if I'm being redundant with my explanation, but we have another 40 seconds of this before I can show you another one of the game. However, I would actually like to show you a bigger variety of our solutions as well. And I will show you here through this portal where we can also, again, the similar format of logging in as you've seen before, a simple sign in using an email address and a password. Same process of filling out my credentials. I'm just going to jump on ahead till we get to the control tower, right? So we've got a few different games over here. You've seen Flip Flop already. That is a cognitive ability game. I would also like to show you a few others, such as, and please bear with me as I pick through which one I would like to show you. A simple one that can be shown, for example, is an aptitude assessment game called Pocket. Pocket is a numerical logic game where you have moving cars and a parking situation where you must guess the correct sequence. I hope there's a tutorial because I have not played this game too often. Yes, there's a tutorial. So let's start that tutorial, shall we? So as you can see, the cars are coming in with certain digits, and I have to select the correct car number and drag them to the relevant parking spot. In this case, it would be 12, as that is what fits the sequence. And next comes 14, and of course, next should be 16, so on and so forth. So it is for us to understand the sequence. So let's skip this demo. Okay, I'm not good at this. I don't know why I skipped the demo, but you guys get the idea, guys. Let me also now coming back to this game. This will bring us back to the control tower in about 30 seconds. I'll be able to show you another cognitive ability game that we have. So just like Pocket, which was our aptitude test game, as you could see, these are more interactive, more engaging. They have time limits on them, which are shorter than the situational tests, which are focused more on behavioral competencies. We have a library of about, I believe it is 8 to 9 cognitive ability games and 3 different aptitude assessment games. So that is on the interactive part of games, we have the basic math would be 11, I believe. So 11 to 12 different tests that are fully gamified, and then 20 different behavioral situational judgment tests that work in a similar manner. Box Sort, for example, is another one of our cognitive ability games that tests for divided attention. Divided attention, of course, is very important for you to be able to multitask. Again, the vertical alignment of the screen, as mentioned, for the benefit of those. And again, a tutorial. So here we want to identify the terminal to which we want to deliver the box by its color, simply by turning these yellow highlighted turning points to create a path to the appropriate terminal. As you can see, there's a score I've been given of 5, and the boxes will change. This game has varying speeds, of course, because you may be wondering how could this slow a conveyor belt prove to be a challenge. This initial stage is for candidates and players to get comfortable and to get a hand on the game. Subsequently, levels will increase with time, and those levels will have faster moving conveyor belt, faster moving boxes. And I promise you, as someone who's played this game hundreds of times, showcasing it just like today, even I, at a certain level of speed, tend to struggle with this. So yeah, these are a few of our assessments and games that are available. There's a whole library of 32 different games, and I look forward to actually showing more to those who are interested. You can always reach out to Paul. You can always reach out to Team BIOSS or the Talent Games. We can set up a more detailed demo in order to discuss any further points, questions that you guys might have. Paul, Team BIOSS, is there anything else you would like me to add here?
Perfect. Thanks so much, Ashir, and thanks to everyone for attending. I know we basically out of time. As Ashir said, if anyone's wanting a more detailed demo where we have a bit more time, please reach out to us. You can contact BIOSS at info@bios.com or directly to me, paul@bios.com, and we can always share some more information, share a more detailed demo, like I said. But yeah, we're very excited about the offering. As you can see, it is something very, very different, something a lot more fun for your millennials and Gen Z graduate levels, and at the same time maintaining the scientific rigor behind how the tests have been designed. So yeah, once again, thanks for attending, thanks for being here, and hope to connect with you later on. And just a message from Marissa, also visit our exhibitor stand at the conference for more information. Great, thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. Thank Paul.
Thanks, Ashir.
Thank Nico.
Brilliant. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.